there! So today I wanted to share my thoughts and opinions on Victoria's Secret as a Catholic mom. This topic has come to mind throughout the last couple years, just randomly, but Lizzie's Answers, another Catholic YouTuber, put out a video recently about her thoughts on the Victoria's Secret fashion show. And it got me thinking that I needed to post a video of my own because although I love Lizzie's Answers and respect her, and I would definitely recommend checking out her videos, especially her ones about her conversion process, and some of her videos where she teaches about the Catholic faith are really awesome. So definitely somebody to check out, but she had posted this video, and maybe it's because I'm a mom now, I don't know, but I disagreed with a lot of points of it. So I wanted to share with you my opinion from the perspective of a Catholic wife and mother. And quick disclaimer, just a little ears warning, I'm not going to be talking about anything too inappropriate, but I don't know, if you don't want to hear about Victoria's Secret stuff with little kids running around, this may be a video that you want to save for later. Okay, so addressing Lizzie's video, the three main points she made, which were really valid points, were number one, that one of the top Victoria's Secret models, Adriana Lima, is a practicing Catholic. The second thing she says is that Victoria's Secret is selling their products, not selling sex. And the next thing that she mentioned was that women usually dress for other women, not for men, and just because the clothes are a little bit more revealing has nothing to do with modesty or the integrity of the woman. Okay, so number one, addressing the fact that one of their top models is a practicing Catholic. I think that is awesome that she's a practicing Catholic. I love that she talks about her faith in interviews and her views on being pure until marriage, and that she's against abortion. Those are amazing qualities and a wonderful thing that she's so open about her faith to people, and especially because a lot of people who probably follow this model are not close to the faith, I'm just assuming. So that's a huge, awesome thing and wonderful qualities about her. But I guess one thing that I have to caution people against, and part of why, hearing that from Lizzie made me a little bit nervous, because I'm thinking like, oh no, are people gonna watch this video and think all this stuff is okay and acceptable just because one of the top Victoria's Secret models is Catholic? And so, okay, so I wanted to share one thing to keep in mind, number one, is that we are all sinners, every single one of us. And even people who are outspoken about their faith and love their faith and are wonderful, amazing, holy people, they still fall short, right? And we've seen it in so many areas. Amazing priests can do really awful things. Amazing people in general, we all sin, we all fall. And so when it comes to her, and I don't want this to come across as judgmental to Adriana Lima because I don't even know her. None of us really even know her except from her public persona. So we really can't speak much for her as an individual person, and I don't want this to be attacking to her as a person at all. But from the perspective that I see is that, okay, that's cool that she makes the sign of the cross. It's great that she says she wears a scapular and that she's pure till marriage and whatnot. But does that necessarily mean that the work that she was doing with Victoria's Secret was a good and holy and moral thing to do? And if we look at her life in other aspects, she is divorced, and the Catholic Church does not teach that that's okay. And we don't know the reason, and it's not our place to really dive into it and care that deeply. But I would just keep in mind, like, there are some qualities about her that do contradict the church. And I think that wearing the type of clothing and being a person who displays their body for financial gain is something that contradicts our faith. And I don't think it's a modest way to present your body as a woman. And so I caution any young people out there who watch that video or are watching this now, when you see somebody who is representing the church, take note, and it's a really good thing, but just be mindful that that doesn't mean every single thing that person does is the right thing to do, or that is part of church teaching. just wanted to bring that up. The next thing that Lizzie mentioned was that Victoria's Secret is selling their products. And so of course they're going to display those products in a way that's alluring and beautiful so that people will buy the products. That's just part of sales. And the product they happen to be selling is lingerie. And this is the thing that made me, somebody who used to shop there, somebody who is not a big fan of the company. Let me explain. As an early teenager, my mom would always buy my bras and underwear for me, which was very nice of her because I was embarrassed to go shopping for those items myself. So I started noticing I was having some problems in the way my bras were fitting, and I asked my mom like what was causing that, because sometimes, you know, you'll see like lines underneath your shirt, and I just didn't want that because I was trying to be modest, and I just think it's better when undergarments are not noticeable. And she said, well, maybe they're not fitting you properly. So I was at the mall one day, and I knew that Victoria's Secret would measure you and give you your like bra size. And so I decided to do that. I went in and she gave me my bra size, and I bought one, and it was one of the most wonderful ones I've had, and it was all about getting the right proper size. And so I was very excited. The quality was wonderful, and it didn't show through underneath my shirts, and it was a good piece of clothing. It's kind of awkward when there's like half naked women everywhere, of course, to shop at a store like that as a young teenage girl. But at that point, I started gaining this loyalty toward them because they provided me a service. They measured me, gave me my proper dimensions, and so I could buy their product. I liked the quality. I liked that it was easy to just get a bra that fits, right? I mean, there's enough things to worry about. You just want something that fits, easy, you know. I don't know if they still do, but they used to sell some clothing, and so I bought a couple shirts and a pair of pants, and those items have held up so well in the wash, and they were conservative items, not anything to do with like undergarments. They were just regular clothes, and I liked that. So at that point I thought, you know what, yes, they're just selling their product. They're not trying to have any kind of alternative goals in terms of like selling sex. I really believed that people who were against them for that just needed to lighten up because they're just selling their product. So anyway, then I got married and got pregnant, and then once I had my first son, I was nursing, and I very quickly realized that a regular bra is very difficult to use for nursing. And then I found out that nursing bras existed, and I thought, oh, awesome. I wasn't sure if a nursing bra was going to be a gimmicky thing or if it was that useful to me. So I went on Amazon, just got a cheap pair, or like I think it was like a 3-pack of these bras, and so I started wearing them, and it's great because, and for those of you who have never nursed, the difference between a regular bra and a nursing bra is that the clasps come off, so you can just discreetly feed your baby and then go back up and you're all good. So I had these Amazon ones, and they were super cheap, like I said, and the quality was reflected in that. They had these kind of foam pads that fell apart, and I just thought, well, the concept is great, but I need something nicer. So I thought, you know what? I just need to bite the bullet. I know Victoria's Secret's expensive, but I just need to get a good, solid nursing bra or two that I can use because I'm going to be wearing them every day. So I go onto the Victoria's Secret website, and I'm looking, I'm searching in the search bar, and I'm not finding anything for nursing mothers. And I thought, there's no way that Victoria's Secret, this large company whose focus is bras and underwear, would not have a nursing bra. And so I continued my search, and then I ended up going to Google and just trying to figure out, like, am I missing something? What's going on? And it turns out Victoria's Secret does not sell nursing bras. And my initial thought was, oh, I should email the company and suggest to them that they should sell nursing bras. But then it hit me, there is no way that that idea hasn't come across any of their business meetings. Of course they know what nursing bras are, and of course they know that tons of women would try to buy them from Victoria's Secret, as large of a company as it is. So that begs the question, why don't they sell them? And as I was, researching a little bit more, I came to realize that they're not selling nursing bras because it does not fit in with their brand. So here I am, a mother who has built some trust in this company, and I've stood up for the company. When people said, yeah, that's kind of like all they're obsessed with is sex and everything like that, I stood up and said, no, they really want to give women cute undergarments that fit right. So here I am years later trying to feed my baby, the whole purpose that these are intended for, and I can't even purchase a bra from this bra company because it doesn't fit in with their sexualized view of what breasts are. And it was just so upsetting and hurtful to me that this company would have such an easy time and would definitely profit from creating nursing products, but they don't, because feeding a baby isn't sexy. And pregnancy isn't very sexy in the eyes of the world. And so it just kind of got me thinking about my faith, and I mean, there's like so many things, especially, as we just went through Advent and Christmas and the birth of Christ, we're hearing all these things about breastfeeding straight from the Bible, and like the one baby just weaned and then all this stuff happened. So anyway, I'm thinking about that, and it's like, I guess it just reminds me that this company is selling a lifestyle and a product that contradicts what I believe in. And within the context of marriage, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with cute undergarments or anything like that. Of course, in the context of marriage, and even just for your own individual self, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But when we're having these fashion shows and images scattered everywhere representing this idea and this lifestyle, I don't know, I guess to me, the fact that this company promotes all of these things and they don't even sell a bra for a nursing mother because that goes against their image, that reveals to me that their image is not one that is empowering to women who have the amazing superhuman ability to bear life and to feed a human, and even multiple humans, from their own body. I mean, like, what could be more empowering than knowing that? I mean, to me as a woman, and especially now as a mom, it's like, what? This is crazy. Our bodies can nurture a human being. God forms them in our womb, and then we help partake in that life-bearing, beautiful gift, and it's just a miracle. And I think a company that's not going to support the beauty of that, the full beauty of a woman. And that's not to say that if you don't have kids or you can't have kids, there's any difference, but the fact that they don't even offer that because it's viewed as not sexy is just so disappointing and sad to me. The third main thing that Lizzie mentioned, and again, this is nothing against Lizzie, or like, don't take it that way, please. I know her way of thinking about this topic because I used to think like that myself, and I know a lot of people do think that way. And so I just wanted to, I guess, share another way to look at it. So the next thing she was saying was that women are the main people who shop at Victoria's Secret and watch the Victoria's Secret fashion show. And also when it comes to dressing, she, as many girls will say, and even myself, sometimes you tend to dress more for the other women who are there than for guys, because guys don't care that much about style and fashion the way that your girlfriends may, and so you're kind of just doing it more for that. And that is a good point. But with that said, the thing about Victoria's Secret as a lingerie, undergarment company, whatever you want to call it, men do see those ads. They do watch it. Some of them voluntarily will go onto the website or go into the store or go watch the fashion show. And some men aren't looking for it. They're just taking a walk down the aisle at the mall and they look over and there's a half-naked woman plastered up there, and they were not asking to go see that. Or they're on the computer and these ads start popping up with these women wearing lingerie, and I don't think that's very fair for people to just have to see that popping up all the time. And what women don't realize, and even I don't fully understand it, but men's brains process things a lot differently than a woman's does. From every man I've talked to, that's just how it is. And it doesn't make a woman's mind any worse, any better. It's just the way it is. And when a man sees a woman dressed in lingerie, they are just naturally going to look. Beyond that, they can physically get excited from that. It's just the way our bodies work. And they're naturally gonna look at a woman who's dressed like that. They're just naturally, you look. In just a minute, I'll read an excerpt from the Catechism of the Catholic Church. But before I do, one idea that I've had for a long time was to create a lingerie company. And this sounds really weird, especially if you know me in real life. You would probably think like you're the last, like I'm probably the last person somebody would think would start a company like that. And honestly, I just don't have the time and full energy for it, but I would love to start one that somehow can sell these products in such a way where it's not overly sexualized. And I do believe you can have cute products, functional products, high quality products, and display them in such a way that it isn't leading a bunch of people to temptation or just overly sexualized. And I think a big thing that comes to mind, I've mentioned this idea to people before of how I think it'd be cool to start, more of like a Catholic or Christian-based lingerie company. And my thing is like husbands who want to shop for lingerie for their wife, if they're going onto the Victoria's Secret website, they are viewing a bunch of women in underwear who are not their wife. And yeah, they're models. Yeah, they don't know them. They're never gonna meet them. Yeah, it's just an image. But I don't know. I don't want my husband looking at other women. Like, sorry, I just don't. And so I think it would be cool if there could be some other way to present these products where men who are shopping don't have to look at other women in order to see the product. And then a few people, when I've shared that idea, that's the whole concept I think behind why I would ever start a company like that, is to, provide a more wholesome experience for people shopping for undergarments, especially if men are shopping for them for their wife. But one thing that comes up when I've shared this idea with some friends and family is that, but how are you gonna see what it looks like on a person? And I thought for a second, and then I realized most people aren't going to look like an airbrushed Victoria's Secret model. And beyond that, every person's body is different. All of the products are going to look a little bit different on each person. And so I really don't believe that having these products displayed on these models' bodies is going to accurately depict the way that it will look on any other person. And perhaps women who see this fashion show will look and feel motivated to get fit and stay healthy, but I think a good majority of women will feel inferior. So like I said in my New Year's video, one of my goals this year is to get better at knowing our faith and reading from the Catechism of the Catholic Church. And I want to read to you this one section that's entitled Purification of the Heart, and it is based upon the 9th commandment in the Bible. And I think it does a good job talking about modesty. So I'd like to read a little bit of it to you now. And then here is called The Battle for Purity. It goes along, talks about some great things. I'd recommend looking at it if you have a chance. So then here at 2521, it goes on to say, purity requires modesty, an integral part of temperance. Modesty protects the intimate center of the person. It means refusing to unveil what should remain hidden. It is ordered to chastity to whose sensitivity it bears witness. It guides how one looks at others and behaves toward them in conformity with the dignity of persons and their solidarity. Modesty protects the mystery of persons and their love. It encourages patience and moderation in loving relationships. It requires that the conditions for the definitive giving and commitment of man and woman to another be fulfilled. Modesty is decency. It inspires one's choice of clothing. It keeps silence or reserve where there is evident risk of unhealthy curiosity. It is discreet. There is a modesty of the feelings as well as of the body. It protests, for example, against the voyeuristic explorations of the human body in certain advertisements or against the solicitations of certain media that go too far in the exhibition of intimate things. Modesty inspires a way of life which makes it possible to resist the allurements of fashion and the pressures of prevailing ideologies. It goes on to mention a little bit more about modesty varying from one culture to another, but despite that, everywhere we are all called to modest living. And then goes on to say in 2525, Christian purity requires a purification of the social climate. It requires of the communications media that their presentations show concern for respect and restraint. Purity of heart brings freedom from widespread eroticism and avoids entertainment inclined to voyeurism and illusion. So I guess there, to me, right in reading this, I feel like as a Catholic, we probably shouldn't be encouraging or supporting a fashion show with lingerie. And I think what really sticks out is just how it's saying the battle for purity. And that's how I feel it is in our world today, right? It's a battle. Because everywhere we go, people, especially, for me as somebody who tends to be more on the conservative side, people always think I'm too rigid or, I'm overthinking this and overthinking that. But this type of thing bothers me because everything gets so distorted and confusing, and there are young girls out there who are totally confused and misled that genuinely have good hearts, but they're just misled by all these things. So I guess to me, my main goal here is just to show you, like, when there's a thing in life that you kind of have a gut feeling is wrong, but you're not really sure if it's right or wrong, check out the Catechism of the Catholic Church, because you can figure out, assuming you're Catholic, that is, you can figure out what the church teaches on these things. And there's a lot in here that is relevant to all the, crazy circumstances that come up. I think this is an amazing resource for us as Catholics, if you're watching this, to just give you an idea of how we determine what is right and wrong. And there's just great references to scripture in here, and it does a great job of clarifying some topics that you hear a lot of different opinions from a lot of different people, even from your own faith. So if you're in doubt, always do a little bit of additional research. It doesn't take all that long. I just felt like I had to share something because the modesty topic, and if you're interested in me doing a video on my opinions of modesty or anything like that, feel free to let me know. But it's something I struggle a lot with because I feel like obviously we're called to be modest, that's very clear, but then when it comes to the definition of modesty, what does that look like? And beyond that, I've noticed that there's a difference between modesty in terms of covering up certain body parts and femininity, dressing in a feminine manner. And so both of those topics are very interesting and have been coming to mind a lot in the last several months. And so I enjoy talking about it, but yeah, just some extra thoughts to think about when it comes to this, because something not a lot of people discuss, and I'm grateful that Lizzie brought up the topic so we can get the discussion going. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on this topic, especially if you're a mom. Thank you for watching this video, and be sure to subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from me.